Prologue. Long ago, there was a place known as the Dek Empire. Named for its ruling family, the Dek Empire was a vast, varied, and beautiful region. It had lush jungles, fertile fields, rich mines, and a mighty mountain range. For centuries, the people of the empire tended to their work and enjoyed good, bountiful lives. There was food to eat. The Deks were the kinds of rulers who protected their subjects, and the capital city, Dek Wo, was a thriving place, a jewel in the empire's crown. Everyone rejoiced when the emperor, who was rapidly losing his battle with aggressive disease, announced that his daughter, Chai Dek, would be named Empress. Chai was beautiful, intelligent, a master at Dek Chi combat, and extremely popular. The 19-year-old had studied and trained since birth to take her father's place, and it was finally going to be her time in the sun. The entire nation was eager to see what new and wonderful changes she would bring into their lives. No one could have foreseen what would follow. Not long after Empress Chai ascended the throne, she began to enact sweeping policies. Workers were to labor longer and have fewer days of rest. Most of the fruits of the labor were to be transported to Dek Wo. Taxes were hiked to unbelievable heights, and if a village couldn't pay in coins, they would pay in food and resources. People were beginning to go hungry for the first time in decades. Some were dropping dead in the fields and mines from exhaustion. Villages were stripped of anything remotely valuable. For what reason, though? Despite everything going to Dek Wo, the once shining example had degraded into little more than a giant slum. All the food, metal, and money were going to one thing: grand conquest. Empress Chai was funneling everything into the Empire's armies so she could send them out far and wide to conquer vast swaths of territory and people. She had very little care that her war machine would eat her own country alive. She only craved more and more power. So her armies marched on. They trampled over villages, towns, and cities. She made other rulers bow to her, kiss her feet, and beg for their people to be spared. The cruel empress obliged their requests, but it was never out of kindness or mercy. After all, the dead couldn't tend fields or carve metal ore from the earth. The empress's army, known as Chai's crashing wave, swept across the land unimpeded for nearly 5 years until it finally crashed against a rock. The Kak Empire had long stood as an ally and friendly rival to the Dek Empire. Each tried to make a more glorious, prosperous, and happier empire than the other, driving the golden age that had persisted so long before Empress Chai took power. As the Dek Empire swallowed their neighbors whole, the Kak sent many ambassadors to the Empress, imploring her to stop, insisting that it was not too late to bring peace back to the land. Each one was rebuffed and rejected. Emperor Da Kak, the leader of the Kak Empire, readied his army with a heavy heart. Empress Chai must be stopped, but the Kak Emperor would wait for her to make the first strike. He had been extremely close with her father, and could not bring himself to attack his friend's nation, even after his daughter twisted it beyond recognition. Emperor Da Kak did not have to wait long. The attack was vicious and powerful, but equal in strength and number, the Kak Empire stood firm. They would not let Empress Chai take anything else. They were ready to fight to the last man. None within Empress Chai's inner circle dared to question her or her orders. Early in her rule, she made sure to make examples of those who scrutinized her decisions via execution or torture. However, declaring war on their closest and longtime ally was too much for many to bear. Dozens of the Empress's advisors either spoke out against her and were executed, or quietly went into hiding. Her nation suffered. Her people were beginning to starve, but nothing seemed to turn Empress Chai's heart from the dark path she had chosen. For centuries, the Dek Empire had been the envy of one and all, but now the work of her forebearers and of her own father was set to crumble in ash in the fires of war. with no one to save it.